Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 79. So close to 80. Feels almost satisfying. And very great news. The whole cast is back here again after. Wow, it's like for the viewers? No, for all of us, it's been like almost a month. Because Felicia was out for a bit, and then Greg got out for a bit, kind of swap there. And we had the horror one shot, which we also only played with 3 and then 2. So yeah, I think it's almost an entire month where only 3 or 2 people. But he is now here, so worry not. Things have finally been settled. And as a special celebration, please like and subscribe. And so the more of you like and subscribe, the more the whole cast will stay together. Anyways, as for special announcements, I of course have to once again self-promote the new one-shot. Well, no, it's actually not a one-shot. It's a mini adventure that I have now launched, or it's in its pre-launch campaign. Wrath of the Chimera, if you're looking for some unique, cool monsters to add to your own game and have a epic, many-layered dungeon which goes through a wizard tower. But Fiera would be interested. You can definitely check that out. I will try to remember to put the link in the description, because last time I promoted my Kickstarter, I actually didn't put the link in the description. I was like, oh, fuck. Defeats the whole purpose of doing that. But yeah. Maybe you will play it, but I don't know if you're actually gonna play it here. Maybe if we find the time. Anyways, with that out of the way, I don't think we have any other special announcements other than the session for today and the special question, which will be different for Greg than the other people, because obviously Greg hasn't been here. He can't know. One is for you, Greg, which is, what do you think has happened since your absence? And for the others, I will ask after Greg has given his answer, because that's kind of no, actually no, I will ask a vague question, which is just what do you think is going to happen? Boom, bam, easy, simple.
Well, I'm Greg, and I'm playing Iric Spanner, the Human Artificer. I apologize for sounding sick, because I'm still sick. But I haven't in the episode, the first episode that I missed. I still haven't gotten to the part where you guys have started the fight, so I don't even know how what was left. Did you guys just disappear out of the thin air in front of me? I don't have no idea. So I'm running on the assumption that I was probably in the tower working on my things, and you guys were talking about something, and then you just left. You disappeared, and I came down in the tower to nothing, nobody around, and I was probably just confused as shit.
Okay, confusion is a good answer. Then
And I just went back to working.
it's just like, well, they're probably busy, and then started screwing again. All right, Matt.
Yeah. But different question, right?
Yes.
What,
Oh.
do
What
we
was the
think's
other
gonna
question?
happen?
What do you think is going to
What
happen?
do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the most likely thing is we're gonna be traveling to Undorn by land pretty soon here, as soon as we're all together again, or maybe not. And there's probably gonna be quite a few encounters along the way. But I think we'll get there. In probably one piece, maybe 2 pieces. Then yeah, hopefully we just find Laszlo and save the world.
Alright.
Hi, I'm Skit, and I play Isara Leofina, the druid cleric. What's gonna happen? I do think we're going to meet some demon friend on the way to Undorn. I wouldn't be very shocked if we didn't. And I think Eric is going to join us in the nick of time for something. I'm sure something is going to happen, and Eric is going to show up just at the right time, is what I think.
All right, well, I'm Felicia, playing Jade Nightlock. I think that I don't want to speak it into existence because knowing Jack, it's never going to actually go that way. I think we're going to have a relatively easy trip there. And until one moment, probably like right before we get there when all hell breaks loose. And Top Hat guy is going to be like, "Are you missing somebody?" And he's just going to plop Eirik down next to us.
Alright.
If it's not Top Hat guy, then it's Zephagus. Somebody's just going to be like, "You missing somebody?" And just plop Eirik down.
Okay, gives minor hints to Eirik. Wink, wink. What might have happened. But yeah, only one way to find out, and that is to play the damn game. So, the first time for Greg, new intro. With the new overlay, with the complete cast. Let's see how things go. I almost clicked on stop recording. That would have been bad. Holy shit. That's the wrong button. Anyways.
He will guide us out of this endless misery, be it pain, sins, penance, or grafting. He knows where one of the roots of Nephasius is, and with them together, we will burn the tree of purgatory, and in its fire, a new age will begin. An age where we do not rely on the light to guide us, but instead, through the blood of our primordial ancestors, we shall escape the curse that has been put onto our kind so long ago. We will not be the victims of this blight any longer, and we will wage the final war needed against those who hold divinity. Those who strive against us are but mere puppets of the divine. We must accept the sacrifice, and we must accept the blood that needs to be spilled. Peace will make us mourn the inevitable deaths of innocent people, and war will make us celebrate the valiant warriors who sacrificed their lives for a higher purpose. Let us not mourn anymore, but instead celebrate for the prosperity of our kind. Stand by me, O so-called sinners. Stand by me, O so-called outcasts. We are bespoken, and we We are carved from the very fabric of death and life together. We will not fail. We will prevail. Long live the dark blood, and long live humanity.
I have to say, watching Greg's expression through the whole intro was amazing. Felicia and I could not stop giggling.
Yep, that is also my favorite pastime to do while listening to the intro. Yeah, putting that aside and giving Greg a minor panic attack and let him wonder why the hell he came back. We'll start with a small recap. You guys spent a lot of time preparing mentally, physically, and equipment-wise in the Zephyrus archives. After researching a lot of new information that are both relevant and irrelevant to the task at hand, you saw that time was starting to dwindle and only mere days were left for you to return back to Ovalmir, where you're supposed to meet up with the Light Cleric Averson Wilton, who is supposedly there to transport you to Undorn. And with your preparations complete, acquiring new magical artifacts and combating demons within your souls, you took your best things with you, saying your last goodbyes to any important people, and made your way to Undorn. And just as you were about to leave and exit and search for Eirik, Mr. Topat guy would come and not only inform you that Eirik is safe and within his confines once again, but warn you that you are about to step into a dangerous, not necessarily place, but time, and that making the wrong decisions during that time might cause a ripple effect of disaster that could have much larger consequences than you can imagine for at least now. And so he specifically warned Fiera that if anyone were to die in the next 10 days, they are not allowed to use time magic to bring them back to life. And with that small warning and a nervous feeling in your stomach, you went to Ovalmir, went towards the Light Church and the Holy Defense Grounds, had a small talk, and got informed by the Light Commander there about the updated situation. The battle in the south of Azathia has already begun. The Holy Blood Legion has engaged with the battalion and the Legion of the Holy Religios, and a unexpected widespread battle across a large area is currently taking place, which took the Holy Religions and the Azathian military by surprise, as they expected just one large confrontational battle of both forces, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And with that, you talked a bit with the High Cleric, and were just preparing yourselves and waiting for your Light Cleric Everson Wilton to appear so he can usher you to Undorn. However, we aren't going to start there, but instead we're going to start with Eirik. Eirik, you have been spending the last couple of days working rigorously on this new construct that you have made. A shield that has been enhanced with a lens and several elemental gemstones to give you an an advantage and a boon during your combat fights in the future. And after spending a bit of money purchasing more materials to kind of refine the process and having developed a couple of prototypes, some of which were a little bit successful, some of which failed, at the very last day, the last evening's rest, where you knew the next day you will be going to Undorn, you managed to successfully complete your shield. And are quite happy and confident with it. And having spent so much time just, getting back into the woodworks of just crafting, it has helped you ease your mind a bit. The nervousness and anxiety still exists within your chest, but it isn't occupying your mind as much, which is why you could focus so well on the task at hand. And with that, you could easily rest back to bed, though now having finished your project, there's nothing that is occupying your mind anymore other than just the ever-growing anxiety of what you might be getting yourself into. But nonetheless, sleep manages to greet you. And surprisingly for you, after having several nervous breakdowns over the last couple of days, you have a very calming and recoverable sleep. And as you kind of naturally wake up and you try to rise from the bed, you hit your head against cold metal. And that is, as soon as you immediately feel that you're in a very uncomfortable place. The mattress that you usually lie on is not there. It's a very hard, metallic, cold surface. As you try to move, you realize you are in a very small, enclosed space. And this is all too familiar. With the lack of light to see anything, you seem to be in some sort of metal coffin.
I'm just gonna start yelling out, nope, out, we're getting out right now.
And as you're shouting and probably banging on the sides to make a little bit of ruckus, you immediately hear as the kind of metal slide where you were lying on inside of this morgue rolls out. And once again, you can see the vista of the almost seemingly infinite other closed doors of similar places where you just came out of, and the infinitely expanse that just drops below where you're currently floating.
Oh, 1 second, I have a question. I need to go back in my notes. Is the number on my drawer the same as last time?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is 2298700766663412220.
Perfect. Just what I thought. I'll get up. I'll start floating with my wing boots, and I'll just say, "Where are you? Where are you?
And
Come on!"
as you kind of looking around, you can just see maybe 20 feet away. There's a small table set up. 2 chairs are there, one of which you can see Top Up Guy is currently sitting. There's a teacup in front of him and what seems to be a magazine or some sort, or a notebook. And he's pretending to drink. He has a mask, this crow's mask, so he obviously can't drink, but he's pretending. He puts his beak inside of the glass itself and places it down and says, hello, good morning.
Hey, what happened this time? Who's at fault? Are they all okay?
Yes, for now. Fault? Let's just say the usual culprit.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, is there anything I need to know going back there?
Well, and he kind of closes his magazine and then he puts it onto the table, and as soon as it does so, it just disappears. He says, well, how about you just take a little seat. I think we'll probably stay here for a while, like about 2 minutes.
Oh, that's a what? What? What are you talking about? 2 minutes. All right, pull the seat out and sit down, I guess.
Yeah, and kind of just crosses his legs and then puts both hands in front of himself and kind of looks at you directly with his mask. You can't really see his eyes and this weird top hat that he's always wearing. He says, well, how do you feel?
Fine, I guess. I mean, yeah, fine. We haven't done anything in the last little while. We've just been hanging out, doing a whole bunch of research, and I'm doing some work. Now, there's been a couple moments.
Mm-hmm.
Fiera tried to, I guess, calm me down. Is that why I'm here?
No.
Is it because of
No, that's not relevant. No.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, been going through a lot, as you probably know. Do you know? Are you able to, like, see into our lives and know what's going on?
Relative. Yeah, I don't see problems the same way you do, so I don't know what you would describe as troubling.
Oh, I mean, if you're asking, some, like, really ancient dragon has taken up residency inside my brain because I have absorbed part of his body, I guess. Yeah,
that sounds quite interesting. Unique experience, I must say.
As I'm coming to understand, yes.
Okay. Well, that's fascinating, isn't it? Taking over the body of someone else, or at least renting it for a time being.
Yeah, interesting, fascinating. It's definitely a way to describe it. I didn't ask for it, so I still don't know how to, go about living with it. But it's giving me powers that are, coming in helpful. So, given what we're going off to do and what we've been doing, it's great. But it's also really scary.
Actually, now I have an interesting question for you, specific relating on this topic. Would you occupy your own mind?
What?
I mean, look behind you. Well, most of them are dead, but there are other versions of you. Desperate versions of yourself, trying to reclaim a more vivid life. So I'm just asking, would you occupy your own mind?
No, I don't. I went into this not having any sense that there was other versions of myself, and I really don't want to. I don't want to fall into the trap of believing that I can change my own life somewhere. Like I don't want to deal with it. So no. I don't want to control other versions of me. The version that I am in front of you is the only version that I know.
Yes. And that's why you're the victim. But see, that's what makes you great. That's what makes me like you the most out of the other bunch. I have a feeling the others, they fight for a higher purpose. And with every higher purpose, there's a reason to justify anything. But you, Eric, you're grounded. You don't think about that stuff. You're like, I wouldn't do it, not even to myself. And that's why you have it the most difficult. And that is why I have to warn you. There's a reason why you're here right now. It is because other people see these things differently. I took you out because you are going to die in the future. Not you. But many, many, many versions of yourself. And I have already told your friends where you're about to go. There's an extremely high likelihood of any one of you dying. And the ripples of those effects, they are causing a disturbance. Many other versions are trying to seek the life that they have lost. So in order to stay out of it, I need you, Eirik, to keep an eye out on Fiera. She has the ability to reverse back time and undo one of your deaths. But if she does so, the ripples will quake through all of your realities. And there will be no life more to be found.
See, I always knew there was something fishy with that shit.
Your intuition is quite keen, Eirik.
Yeah, out of nowhere, this person is just able to alter time. Like, I know I'm not the most experienced in the world as a whole, but the first time I did see her do that, yeah, it's kind of off-putting. Has it helped us before? Yes. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, and I usually try to convince people to stay away from it. But I think we both know there's no convincing Fiera on letting that go. So the best we can do.
So how common is her ability? Like, have you seen other people do it?
Oh yes, I only interact with people who have come into contact with it. That's kind of my thing, right? The ripples, the distortions, I make sure that the distortions don't have any great effect. One can say I only know people who have either interacted or used that ability. So, yeah.
I mean, yes, but you could only interact with 2 other people or 7,000 other people.
Yeah, it's a handful. Let's put it that way.
All right. So what am I supposed to do?
Well,
okay? Hold on. Is it just against me? Am I the only one involved here?
No.
If she does time,
Everyone. The only reason why...
Are you going to tell me that I have to fight her?
No. I'm talking to you right now to prevent this from even happening in the first place. She has the ability to do so, but once she uses it, it is already over. It just can't even get to that point, is what I'm trying to communicate. I need you guys to trust.
She can't do anything to reverse time.
To reverse time in order to prevent someone from dying. specifically.
Strictly death related. Okay. Okay. It's a little bit more specific than I thought. So.
Yeah. But I think you've been keeping her pretty grounded for the time being. There haven't been a lot of distortions coming from your group recently. So she has
Does
learned.
she know?
Yes, she does know. I have warned them already.
Okay, well. I guess there's nothing else to know, just, pay attention to her even more than I already have.
Well, there's not much to do. And then you can hear the loud cuckoo's clock again. Cuckoo, 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 coming from the door with this very intricate and mechanically designed clock house where the bird kind of jumps out of, this golden bird, and kind of says, well, the 2 days are over, so please can...
One final thing. We had recently spoken to each other, Fiera and I, about making some sort of little, mechanical, magical thing that could help her do, enhance her abilities and her magic and whatever. Should I not be doing that? Is it maybe not a good idea to be giving her more tools?
Tools are fine. It's just how she chooses to use them. The magic she has is fine. She just isn't allowed to use it to, at least for this instant, bring people back from the death.
Gotcha.
That's why I chose you. You have great judgment about these things. Great in because you don't want to do them most of the time, which is the correct answer most of the time.
Yeah. Like I said, I started this whole thing believing that there was only one of me, one of them, one of the world, and I don't want to mess around with the other versions of it all. So.
Yeah. All right. Any longer here, and you will disappear into the aether. And you can see the door just...
Okay.
And then you stand up and walk towards it, and you can just see the open door is just a bright white light there. And as you step out of it, you are greeted with not as much noise as you expected. You can hear some chantings of like a small choir and slow mumbles of prayers, and the bright white light kind of stays as you walk off the door, and you can just see this large hallway that you're inside of with many great stained glasses, and you immediately recognize this place. This is the inside of the church of Ovalmir, and you can see just to the side, no one seemingly noticed you being there, your friend standing next to the High Cleric, who is actually the only one who kind of sees you approach. It's like, I see her. Not Cleric, Eirik, you are finally arrived.
Yes, it was a harrowing journey. Guys,
Hi.
you left me alone again.
We didn't. He
Well-
scooped you while we were eating breakfast.
We thought it was for your own good.
It was quite sudden.
He said you would find your way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, I trust that that's accurate because it's happened to basically all of us multiple times. Like, I get that,
Too many
but
times.
like, holy shit.
Well, just remember
I
he.
apologize all for the language, by the way.
Oh, it's fine. I have heard much worse.
Just remember he's trying to look out for your well-being.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I could speak to him if you want, but
No,
There's always-
it's fine. There appears to be no danger when I'm with him. So like I guess it's okay. But anyway. We have evidently a lot more trouble to deal with.
right, we were just about to leave. I guess anyone have questions before we try to find this Wilton fellow?
Yeah, how long was I with him?
Oh, let's see,
That's a good
3 weeks,
question.
4 days. No, probably just about an hour or two.
Couple hours. Yeah, a couple hours.
Maybe a day?
No, not even. He left this morning while we were at breakfast. And then we came here.
But time's
Mhm.
weird there.
That's true. You could have been there much longer.
Almost feels like it's been a week.
None of that answers the question. What are we doing?
We're going to Undorn.
Right.
So, do we want to go?
Whoa! And he kind of, the high cleric just kind of gestures, and you can see that someone is now approaching you from the entranceway, where you just came from. And you can say like a humanoid man who is human, and he seems to be like in his late 60s. Graying hair, but surprisingly still has most of his hair on his head. Cut short, very tidy, has the very typical light cleric robes on that you expect from the Holy Religios. Though you can see that he has like this, I don't know if it's called lapel or like a scarf thing that goes across the front and the back with long robes, which you can see between the robes that he's wearing also has like some sort of armor on, so he doesn't just seem to be like a cleric of practice in the church, but also seems to be one that probably engages outside of city confounds. And yeah, holding in his left hand is his trusty Legionis Biblicum. He kind of approaches and says, excuse me for the delay. A couple of things to deal with, but I am here now, and I presume you four are the Fate Weavers. Is this correct, Your Holiness? And you see Godric say, yes, indeed. These are the ones you shall accompany to Undorn. And he kind of bows very deeply and says, of course, it is my pleasure. Hello. My name, if you haven't known, I am Light Cleric Averson Wilton. A pleasure to be able to transport you.
Wonderful.
All right.
Well, I guess you know us. We don't quite know you. Are you going to join us for this entire adventure, or just for transport?
Just for the transport.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully with my aid it should not take too long.
So where are we being dropped, and what are we immediately doing or being faced with? Like, what are we just going there and then figuring it out on the fly, or do we have a plan?
Do we ever have a plan?
We have
No,
a
but we
rough
often
plan.
we talk about stuff. It doesn't mean it happens, but
Well, I guess. How are you transporting us? I think is question one.
Yes, of course. There is a small temple built close on one of the hills to Undorn, and I will be transposing us immediately there, so you needn't travel by foot or horse the long distance to Undorn, so we can save time.
Thank the gods.
And then we should be greeted by one of the clerics or acolytes of Undorn, who will accompany you then to the village itself, where you will then greet the, as far as I'm concerned, the pastor. And Godric kind of speaks. Yes, if it has been quite some time, but just to remind you, you are there to meet the pastor and update him about the current situation and ascertain as much knowledge as possible.
Mhm.
He used to be a close friend of mine, and I think he will understand the meaning of this meeting.
And we're talking about Mr. Vielmarsh, right?
Yes, indeed.
What does he look like, just so we're not mistaken?
He is an elderly man, quite small, in fact, very, very old. So do be gentle and patient with him. No hair, should be adorning the Undorn specific Lichnius robes, which have more white and red colorations instead of the classical white and yellow. And I think no other notable features.
Let's see. Okay, well, seems like a good plan.
In the event that anything, like super bad happens to us, are these like little temples and stuff safe places that we can run to if need be?
Well, the temples have been built for prayer, and usually people of high belief often visit these points to receive blessings from the angels. But as far as protection goes, you might have a divine intervention when you stay there, though I wouldn't rely on divine intervention to solve your problems.
Right.
Wasn't implying that. It just simply meant if we were running from something and we needed a place to literally hide in, because we've had to hide from stuff before.
Oh, maybe clarification. It is more of a shrine, less than a big temple.
Gotcha.
It is only meant for prayer, so I don't think... Definitely not a place to stay when a high storm comes, though I don't think we have to be worrying about that anytime soon. And the
Right.
village is quite close by.
Understood.
And I believe we were told there's something akin to a town-specific legion that guards the area, right?
Yes, exactly. Though I don't think you will have any major confrontations with them as soon as you're ushered towards the pastor.
Right.
But if any of the captains and guards inquire for your reason of staying there, be sure that you have been sent by me as part of my legion to inquire about the current situation and how Pastor Benedict Vielmarsh is currently, what his developments are, so Ovalmir and our legion can stay prepared in case they need aid.
Would you
Understood.
would you mind just oh, hold on. Would you mind saying all of that one more time, just so I can record it on this whatever tool I pull out? I just want to have proof that it's being spoken from you.
Oh, all right. Sure. You are there under my supervision, High Cleric Godric, to inquire about the current situation and how Pastor Benedict Vilmarsh is handling the situation and if any help is needed.
Yeah, should do the trick.
Interesting device.
And
Yeah, it helped back years ago working when someone give information and instructions on how to, build something. It was just, record the little note so you can listen to it back to it later, and it's, whole thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess we can get you up to speed once we get there, Eirik. We've learned quite a bit over the last couple days. Most of it useful, but we kind of have a general idea of what we need to do when we get there. And we learned a bit about Benedict and this Laszlo person.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but a while ago we talked about, or it was brought up that maybe we should be like disguising ourselves while we're there. Is that something we should be doing?
I think I have supplied you with the altar self spell scroll just so you look a bit more unassuming as you do currently. And it also helps with the superstition if you are able to turn yourselves into humans. No, two of you already are, so that's not a big change. But I think if a dark elf and high elf and equipped with high armored and weaponry, I think the guards and captains will become quite suspicious.
Right.
You are
Fair.
scholars of the Penume, Angel of the Written Word. So try to just, and he kind of shows around to like other like clerics and scholars who are inside currently praying, and the church is decently filled, unlike the several other occasions when you were here. And they are wearing like these kind of also longer robes, but they have a mix of blue and green colors on and patterns on the robes themselves. And some of them also wear like this kind of scholarly hat that looks like a cone that then just ends into a plateau.
Very well. I guess will I be okay as I am?
Maybe just alter the fitting of your clothes. I think that should be more than enough. Once again, you are portraying yourselves as enlisted individuals from my legion, and we have a very strict uniform codex here.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I should be able to do that with prestidigitation. It lasts an hour and I can do it a couple times. So I'll just change my colors with that.
All right. And what about the other three?
I can't really change much with me.
I might have remembered it wrongly, but I think he gave you guys the altered self spell scrolls?
Yeah.
Everyone should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have one.
Yeah.
I could give someone the spell as well if they don't want to use their scroll. I just need a short rest to change some stuff out then.
How long does
I mean,
it? work for?
I think it's 8 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a while.
I have it. I can post. Oh, I have it prepared. Perfect.
I just don't see the
Yes.
number written in the description. That's why.
Yeah, it's not set on the scroll itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Have to.
but if you have
Oh,
it,
it's concentration up to an hour.
Oh.
but it's just to get into the city, right? And once we're in there, it's fine.
We mostly just need to get to Benedict and then figure out a plan from there. Because it
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of stuff is happening under the city.
Like we're gonna use
Um,
this spell or these spells to get ourselves in there, and then it's just gonna fade away, and then all of a sudden we're gonna be ourselves again. How did these people get inside this town village? Like,
Oh, are we able? Do you have spare uniforms for Eirik and I?
Oh, yes, of course.
That might be easier than casting a bunch of spells.
That is
At
true.
least for the two of us.
Yes, that is very true. And then, well, it is also for your own protection if you do not want to be remembered or affiliated with whatever you
Right.
are attempting to doing. Because they do remember faces. Every face that walks into Undorn is recorded.
Perfect.
And then he just kind of calls one of the retainers and he says, just 2 sets of our scholarly garbs, please. And then it's like a young boy. He says, yes, very well. And it kind of it doesn't take long, and you are given 2 of these Penome Scholar Legion robes.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay. Isarel is going to think for a bit and say, okay, so we just need to get to Benedict. We're getting to the city by magical means, right?
Sounds like it.
close to the city or village.
Yeah, close to the city, village, whatever. Do we need to change ourselves now?
It would be best
Okay.
before teleportation. As soon
All
as
right,
you
so I'll
arrive.
take out my scroll and just... I'll use my scroll of alter self.
All right,
I
then.
would do the same.
Then describe what you turn yourselves into.
Alright. I'm going to turn myself into a short human, maybe like 5'2", 5'3", with short, like, ginger hair and like those little freckles on the chin, not on the chin, on the cheeks and the nose, and big bright green eyes, and those like tiny little spectacles on the tip of her nose, looking maybe like mid-20s, early 30s. And she's just wearing like plain librarian style clothes, and she has this very librarian look to herself. Like she loves books and readings and history, and she's basically giving herself. She's basically Isarel is imagining herself as her probably her like scripture teacher when she was a young child or something, you know, and she's just turning herself into that.
Yeah.
I would I would stay the same height that Jade is, which I'm realizing now I never actually wrote it down. So we'll just
Sure.
So we're just gonna say she's like 5'7" because that's my height. Unless this race is or species is taller, then it'd be taller. But anyway, so she's gonna be turning 5'7", jet black hair will be tied back, and just like a neat like light ponytail, possibly braided. She would try to match the clothing that Eirik and Fear were given. Probably green eyes. Probably like a tan complexion.
Mm.
And then glass is probably similar to like what I'm wearing now.
All right. Then I guess.
Yeah.
Either Eirik or Fiera, do you change yourself or do you just wear the robes?
No, I'm gonna change. I'm going to make myself just a little bit taller, maybe 6'1". What?
Typical guy
What?
height.
Yeah.
Typical guy. I need to be over 6.
Yeah. Irik's only like 5'10", so 3 inches is a lot.
Ooh.
So he'll be 6'1". He's gonna put on a little bit of extra weight, but it's not like fat or like unkempt weight. It's like he just looks a bit more dense. He's like just a little bit more,
Firm.
full. So that the robes kind of like fill out a little bit, but he's still very fit. I don't know if do you know the musical Book of Mormon?
No.
No? Okay.
Yes.
Well, like the very
Yes.
stereotypical way a Mormon looks, with like the shirt is like crisp ironed, like there's seams are clearly visible, like
Uh-oh.
there's crisp lines in it. The hair is perfectly coiffed, like everything is clean. It's just very well put together. Black hair, just clean face. All the dust and dirt from Eirik is gone, and I guess I don't know if it can do the spell, but I want to make sure that everywhere that a scale may appear does not appear anymore.
Yep.
Even if it's covered under clothing and whatever, I want to make sure that every ounce of scale has been taken away.
Yep. The spell does do that. Changes you completely.
Yeah, Fiera's just gonna be Fiera, but with new robes.
It's like, oh, the
Yeah.
dress up. All right.
And nothing to hide.
Yeah. And
Yep.
Arsa is gonna be like, I'll just act as Fiera's personal assistant, scribing down everything she does, recording her findings.
All right. Seems like you have a plan then. Best to.
For once.
I will advise you, however, to definitely stay out of any sort of trouble while within Undorn. The security
Right.
is
I'm looking at Fiera.
Done. She's laughing.
the security there is unbelievably dense and tight. They even have a Oculus Maiden there, so anything that does happen, any sort of larger magical spells being casted will be immediately detected. So,
fuck.
do not engage in any sort of troubles, and I hope you do not have to do so.
We'll try, but it seems like there's 2 other factions that are also in this race.
They are, but I also hope we have the head start on this.
Right. I guess, let's say that a regiment of the Blood Legion does get there, and battle does ensue. What side would the guards of the town stand on?
I would hope definitely on, well, their own. They will use all their force in order to defend
or fight off any intruders, and as long as you do not act in any ways that they would deem harmful towards the city, or any intention can be ascertained that you're going against any of their preset rules and or laws, you should be fine. You probably will be questioned and arrested after, since you are infiltrating under disguise, but I don't think you will be punished in any severity. And if that does happen, just send word out and I will put in words to say that it was part of our operation, and I will most likely be able to get you out of there.
Words I can do.
And then, do you know much about the landscape around the city? We've come across a map. We know of the cave to the north. But there's also mention of ruins southwest of it.
Yes, well, anything particular you wish to know?
Well, I guess what are the ruins of?
The ruins themselves, I fortunately have not had the chance to go there myself. Though I believe many old remnant artifacts of the empires that existed before here, and I believe most of them were of draconic origins, though a lot of artifacts from the angelic armies were found there as well.
That is quite old and interesting. Well, yeah, I guess it will be hard to find time for a side trip. But it's good to know. I guess, does Undorn have a singular leader? Like a mayor or anything of that sort?
Undorn specifically is very complicated. Let's just say the pastor, the one who you are going to talk with, usually does much of the public say that comes out. But even I am not quite sure of the extent of influence he has within Undorn itself. So I do believe he would be the closest thing we could refer to as a town master.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, yeah, these spells don't last forever. I think we're ready to get to it.
All right. He looks to Averson, saying, "Very well. All right. Then, if all of you are prepared, please step as close as you can, and I shall bring us there in haste." He kind of opens up his Holy Religions Biblicum and starts to read out some of the passages inside of their specific one. And as he does so, you can see that the book starts to glow, and Godric kind of steps back and just gives you all one last nod. And with that, as the book is glowing, you can see suddenly out of thin air pages start to appear that swirl all around you in an instant. The last thing you hear is how the light cleric shuts the book, and as soon as he does so, the environment changes, and you immediately met with a gust of cold air, of strong winds, as well as you can see the kind of pages that were fluttering around you kind of fly off into the distance and up into the sky and vanish from sight. And in front of you, you can see you're surrounded by several pillars that are kind of white, marbled, but seem to be heavily weathered, and they are holding like a small triangular roof. It is not large. The pillars go about 8 feet high, and it's like enough for you all four to stand beneath it. And you can see that there is a outer wall that is kind of also supporting the roof above you, but the sides are open. You can see you're standing on what seems to be almost like moss-covered marble steps, and you immediately notice like you are on the outside. This isn't a enclosed space, but on the wall itself you can see a very large silvery mirror which is reflecting you, and in front of the mirror there's like a small offering bowl, which at first glance seems to be empty, and only like a bit of rainwater is inside of it. And the light character says, "Alright, this seems to have been a success. Welcome to Canaan."
Well done.
And he kind of just goes towards the mirror and the offering bowl. He kind of goes towards his inner pocket, takes something out, just goes like in a prayer stance, closes his eyes, bows down a bit, and then just puts something inside of the bowl, and then just turn around to you people and says, "There it is." And he gestures behind you. As you kind of look behind, you seem to be on top of a hill, and looking down, really maybe like 1,000 feet away from you, you can see the city walls of Undorn, and it is a small village, as you have read in several descriptions and heard from many people. However, there's something definitely distinctive that catches your eye as you look at this small village. There's just a enormous Gothic black cathedral in the center of it that's just standing out. If you ever seen the dome in Cologne of Germany, that is what it looks like, and it's in heavy contrast to the mostly white and or brownish colors that make up most of the other houses inside of this village. This is like a sore thumb sticking out at you, that this cathedral is there, and immediately next to it there seems to be a much smaller but very recognizable, light church. It is smaller than the one you just came from, but and definitely smaller than this large cathedral. But there seems to be a normal church placed next to this cathedral. And like I said, it is small, but you can immediately see that there are like open courtyards within the village itself, where you can see the reflections of presumably armor, and it doesn't take long for you to recognize that a large military presence is indeed within and around Undorn itself. And I think, Eirik, you have a pretty high passive perception. You can see in the air that there are several flying beings which are being ridden presumably by crusaders that are also flying in the surrounding areas, keeping a watch out. And Avonson just says, "I wish you good luck. This journey onwards is yours to take."
It is. I guess good luck with you if you face the Legion of Blood.
Indeed. Success to both our sides. I pray in the name of the word. And with that, he kind of just opens his book up again, starts muttering his words again. As you can see, the pages fill only himself now. And he disappears.
So, how does it feel to be somewhat home, Fiera?
Confusing. This is part of my home. It seems familiar. Town seems familiar. But I'm guessing the people are going to be quite different than what I'm used to.
You're from the capital, am I right?
No, I'm from Far East, Finlandia.
Oh, okay. Oh. Right. Well,
So, quick rundown. Is there like greetings we need to know how to do? Do we have to bow here, like, as we're kind of taking on the, personification of, scholars and people who know what they're doing?
I am a human for the first time in my life.
Right. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what the protocol's gonna be. I'll start with what I know and we'll go from there. But first of all, we need to think that we may be in enemy territory, as we don't know this town, we don't know what's going on, we don't know what the people are believing in. So let's look around the surroundings first, and then we can head in once we feel comfortable.
We only have an hour with this disguise, though.
Right, we could take...
We have to find Benedict quickly.
Okay, haste. This is the way. Okay, I'll lead the way. Just keep an eye out.
All right. Yeah, you can see that there's a small path that indeed leads from this small shrine towards the main road that connects to the village itself. And you walk down there and you get closer. The walls seem to be heavily fortified. There are 2 watchtowers immediately next to the main gate of the village. And you can see a wide variety of soldiers walking around here. Some of which are mounted on carts, and like groups of like 5 or 6 are walking beside it, heavily armored. You even see cherubim court sentinels, which you would know, Fiera, which that was the sentinel that accompanied you for the first meeting. That also seems to be kind of making the rounds around here. And of course a lot of griffins flying above, some of which sometimes swoop down and land onto the side of the wall, and you can see mounted these heavily armored crusader knights that also have like a long spear that seems to be like kind of cavalry, and then they kind of jump back up and then course through the sky. And as you approach the city gate, you can see that there are like 4 guards, also very heavily armored, though seem to be like normal crusaders. So to the side, the gates are closed currently, and you can see one of them has like this side cape on his shoulder pauldron that goes about all the way to his elbow with the Holy Religios symbol on it, but not per the usual yellow color. He seems to be adorning it with a red color, and he kind of holds your group as you approach the gates, and he says,
How can we help you?
Greetings. I am Fiera Kron of the Written Word. We are here for Benedict Vilmos.
Benedict Vilmos. Alright. We got notified about you. 4 people, is that correct?
That's correct.
Very well then.
and then he kind of talks to one of his boys.
Open the gates. How's someone called the pastor?
And he kind of just steps to the side and says,
Follow me.
Because I am on edge here. As he's talking to us, does he seem nervous, angry? Is he sweating? You know, are we about to walk into a weird situation? How does he feel? You know,
making it
what's going on with him? Not sure.
Does he have a missing finger?
Very important. Might be a friend then.
It's like,
my
dang,
god!
a 20.
I rolled so high.
Wow.
You
Rolled a
definitely feel a sense of suspense and definitely nervousness. He gives the vibe of a guard who is expecting things to potentially go down. It's like, you know, if a security... It's like security guards during a presidential election, you know? When the president's going out. It's not like, yeah, definitely something is going to happen. However, that there's a high probability that something might happen. And he gives that vibe, and specifically now that you have arrived, seems like he's going through protocol. And as soon as you're kind of ascertaining that, he's like ushering you in as there are like 2 other people who kind of come out of the gates and kind of look you up and down, just checking who the newcomers are. And as you kind of stand now at the gate, as the gate is now being pulled up, and it's like this iron gate that has many sections, and the typical kind of cross-hatching style with heavy barricaded, fortified irons get pulled out. He ushers you to kind of the, not completely through the gate, but still like at the very entrance, and he like takes out a what seems to be like a notebook and says, all right, so how long do you think you're going to stay here?
Perhaps a Voss at the most.
Hey, Voss. All right, and your intentions?
To get in touch with Benedict Valemarsh and ascertain his position on the Order of the Holy Blood. And also just double checking efforts of the war that just began. And some research.
All right. Are you carrying any dangerous goods on your body right now?
I think nothing I would consider dangerous to you or anyone else in town.
Kind of looks you, all of you over, and you look like, you know, just scholars. It's like, all right. Well, stand over there towards the wall, and then we have to make a record of your entrance, stay, annihilation fields.
Very well.
Oh, shit.
I guess as he ushers us, can I look around for any arcanery in the area, like glyphs or maybe like I don't know, crystal balls, things that I can visually detect as arcane objects?
Yeah, I would say perception, because you have to see if there are any. You unfortunately can't spend the time to like touch the things. So,
Yeah, I probably don't want to do that.
yeah. 8. Hard. You don't want to like, you know, look too suspicious and like.
I don't want to give it away. Yeah.
Google that things, and so he's like quickly bringing you to the side. And as he does so, you can see that further down, as you get inside of this town, it is fairly quiet for a village. Usually you suspect like sounds of carts driving by and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like it. But as you are brought towards the wall, it almost feels like you're putting in front of like the shooting stand. You know, you're going towards the wall and they're gonna tie up your eyes.
Yeah.
But guns, you don't really know about. So you're not worried about that, and you just kind of stand there. And the houses here are very well built, seem to have been used by light crystallises, very firm and symmetrical structures, very Holy Religions like. They usually have like kind of, it's like a mix between dwarven and elven. It's like the in-between, where it's not like super tall and pointy, but also not like super short and wide. It has like very unique angles and uses more curvatures in the architecture itself to make many archways within the houses themselves. Most of the doors aren't like square, but instead the top of it is an arch. Yeah, and most of the roofs are immediately attached to the house itself and not separated like in most elven homes. And most of the houses here do have windows as well, which is very uncommon for a village this size, because, you know, windows have to be specially made and fortified to withstand high storm winds. But as you are being placed there, you can see from the main road coming now towards your sides are 3 figures completely adorned in red cloaks, and they're wearing white masks one of the individuals is clad in very bright red scarlet armor and is carrying like this weird spear, the tip of which seems to be spiraling on itself until it gets to a point. And you as players have seen these before, but you as characters would see them for the very first time as
Ooh, campaign 1.
these people appear in front of you.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, you didn't know? You didn't know?
Oh my gosh.
I didn't make that connection.
Oh, come on, guys. Come on.
Look, I didn't know anything about the Lich Lords, okay?
And you can see that the one on the very right
Not these guys.
is in the middle and is kind of leading this trio and kind of walks in front of you, and you can see he says,
Greetings. This will only take a short moment.
and then he kind of just like looks towards the one who's on the very left, and they kind of walk towards you. You can see they open their robes, and as soon as you see their hands, you can see that the tips of their fingers don't have any flesh and the nails are missing. And she's like holding a needle, and then as he goes towards you, kind of asks for you, she doesn't say anything, but asks for you to kind of hold out your hands, and the one in charge also says,
There, please hold out your hands. We just have to take small blood samples.
How does Spear react to this? Because this is to determine how Jade reacts.
I'm trying to think that too. Pretty sure rule number 1 of blood magic is don't give up your blood. I mean, we can't make a fight now, so I will act as normal as I can while being nervous and hold out my hand.
yeah.
The one without the glove.
Yep, she kind of takes a small needle and then just pricks the tip. It hurts like fucking hell, but you don't take any actual damage, and she kind of swipes it with a small cloth, and there's now a point of blood there, and then she goes over to you, Isorel.
I'll extend a hand that is not missing a finger.
Yep, kind of pricks that, and then takes another side of the cloth to take some blood off of you. But as soon as you pierces it and then washes it over with the cloth, she kind of holds your finger for a moment and goes over it with her hands. You can feel that the pain instantly subsided as they do that, and the wound itself also just closes. And we'll walk over to you.
I'll act as a scribe and just whip out a little note thing and start scribbling what's going on.
And then Eirik.
Yeah, same thing. Hold out the hand that doesn't have a missing finger, which would have been nice to remember with an alter self spell.
And then kind of
You gave yourself
Oh,
a finger.
my other hand has all 5 fingers, but alter
Yeah.
self, I mean, the finger is not there. Like, if they try to prick, it's just gonna go through.
no,
I know, but just like walking around.
no,
Alter
alter
self is a physical change.
Yeah, it's a
It's
physical.
not an illusion.
Yeah,
Oh,
so you can grow a
I
finger.
have
But
all 5 fingers. Woo!
yeah, I think you will remember putting all 5 fingers, because you as players, you forget that you have lost a finger. I think as a actual person who has lost a finger wouldn't forget that. It's like, oh yeah, oh.
Anyway.
But yeah, pricks
I
that,
would still just hold out the hand that
Yeah,
didn't have
me
the
too.
missing.
Yeah.
Instinctively.
and then we'll also
Instinctively.
prick your finger and then kind of swab it off, and then they will eventually walk towards you, Jade.
So before I put my hand out, may I ask why you want some of our blood? This is a very odd request.
I think the captain has told you we are recording your annihilation fields and the record that you have entered Undorn.
Okay, I just needed it because this is odd, and I as she's kind of like stuttering, I just wanted to be sure. Blood makes me woozy. And
Worry not. The pain won't last long.
and so I'll like put my hand out, and then I'll like try to like not look at it.
Yeah, and then the piercing pain. Though for you, Jade, you've died 4 times in a row in short succession. So it's like you're almost numb to it, but maybe you like pretend that it hurts.
Yeah, I'm pretending like this is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and then also swabs it off and then immediately covers the pain. And they kind of return back with the cloth and then hands it over to the one who was talking to you, who kind of now lifts their arm and then takes the handkerchief. And the other one then kind of takes out 4 glass vials out of her sleeves and just kind of holds them in front. And very small glass vials, maybe like this big as like a bullet would be. And then you can see that the one who was speaking towards you just kind of lifts all of his fingers. And as he does this weird gesture, you can see that the blood just kind of... as small droplets just start floating out of the cloth itself. And he kind of almost like water bends it into each vial. And then he says... names.
Of course. Pierre Crown. Like I just nudged, I guess, Israel.
Sorry. Used to being basically a shadow. Judith Isengard.
A sweat starts to form.
Francis Kittle.
You sweat.
Sorry.
We did not plan this whatsoever.
Nope. I just came with it on the spot.
Wait, what was your name again,
I think I remember
Greg?
these two. Jesus.
Francis Kittle.
Oh,
Kittel.
I'll
everybody write your
check mine here.
names. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There we go. That's me.
Oh yeah, what was it wrong?
That's why I just started dying, because I was just like... And then I'm Selena Kyle.
Meow.
We're boned, guys. This is the end.
I looked at my pop figures and I saw that one and I was just like, okay, there's my name.
Yeah,
I don't
we're
know
all gonna
why
have
the
to remember
first-
these now.
I have no idea why the first name that came through my head was Judith.
I mean, great name.
Francis Kittle. Like,
Yeah.
Great
That's
name.
unique. My God.
And it's like, and then he says, "Are these birth given names, or have you altered them at any point in your lives?"
This is my scribe name.
my
I was
born
born with it.
name.
It's a name everyone's always called me.
Alright, scribe's name. Do you still have
Yes.
and or remember your birth given name?
I have forgotten it. I am sorry.
Very well. Alright then. Fiera, Judith, Frances, and Selena. There are strict protocols within our city. And we do like to avoid any problems. So I would ask all of you to follow them as best as you can. Simple. Do not cause any troubles to anyone. Do not ask unsolicited questions to people you do not know. Only talk to people you are meant to talk to.
And of course the usual. No stealing. No murdering. No harming of any sort.
Well, seems quite standard.
And this point you can see somewhat coming from the side. A guard is approaching, who's accompanied by a old man who's walking treacherously slow. Kind of speaks up and says,
Well, have you taken good care of them? Well. No need to frighten our new visitors here. Greetings. I am Pastor Benedict Vimash.
and then the three of them kind of just, bow towards the pastor, and as soon as the other guards also see him there, they also kind of just stand and salute, and then bow down, and the one who kind of just took your blood says,
Blessings be, Pastor, just following protocol. They are not yours now. They have been informed.
and the pastor says,
Diligent workers, always. Very well then. Might I ask thee to follow me?
Yes, of course.
and you can see that you just probably walk towards him, and the other three just kind of dismiss themselves and then walk back from where they came from. And he kind of, slowly steps towards you and ushers you towards like the main road and says,
I hope they weren't too uncomfortable to bear with.
It was expected somewhat.
Yes. I hope you do understand that the security protocols within Undorn have to be kept rather strict most of the times.
From what we've learned and from what we understand we're about to learn, I think that makes sense. I'm gonna give this guy a look over. Does anything about him give the essence of he's more than just a human?
yeah, can make an insight check. I guess an insight check,
An
yeah. I
old
guess,
man.
I really want to give you guidance, but I don't want to draw attention to myself.
No.
I should have cast borrowed knowledge. Is what I should have done.
3. Ooh, man. Is what you think. He looks like a old man on his deathbed. Like, he looks like a
Yep.
90-year-old guy. Kind of walking.
How long has it been? 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess as we're walking, I'll just ask, would you like a hand? I'll kind of, I don't know, offer mine to like hold his shoulder, I guess.
It's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
such
You don't look hard.
such kindness. I would never turn down such a nice offer. With my old age, walking truly does seem to be a pain.
He kind of locks in the arms and starts walking slowly.
But to your point, as I understand, Godric wishes for us to discuss several matters, so let us walk to a place where we can do so with some privacy and comfort.
Of course.
Yes, we have quite the nice park that we can walk towards to. think it's a nice spot to hold the beginning of our conversation.
A park sounds lovely. And there's privacy there. Sounds kind of open to me.
Different rules inside of Undorn. Privacy is but a legacy here.
Okay.
And he starts walking towards a place. And you can see as you're walking past the houses, you can see several people walking by you. And most of them are robed figures who seem to be like religious robes. Often a mixture of white and red colors. Some even have like full red robes across like a longer white shirt. And it's weird for you to be walking inside of here and seeing so much like you presume blood related adornments while you are like believing that, you know, the Blood Legion is your enemy, and if not known better, you would assume they belong to the Blood Legion.
That was a thought.
And he kind of walks you past some of the buildings until you are led behind the light church, and you can see that the light church itself is next to the large Gothic cathedral, and he walks behind, and there's like a small not a bridge, but you know, like a open walkway that connects the light church with the cathedral, and you kind of walk past by there. You can see that separating the light church and the cathedral is what used to be a park, though you quickly realize as you look, there are a lot of, you know, stones placed there, and you realize, oh, this is a very specific type of park known as a graveyard, as you realize, oh, these are tombstones. As you walk inside of there, is there anything you would like to do as you're kind of slowly moving your way towards there?
I'm pretending to be clumsy.
Okay.
Tripping over my own feet.
I'm
Trying
just
to make it seem like I'm not confident in anything that I'm doing.
and I'm just writing down everything that I'm seeing and all that, and just kind of also just trying to look around at like, is there, I'm actually trying to covertly trying to figure out if there's a tree that would be much bigger than any other, like that I can see.
Alright, yeah, you can make a perception check, looking around.
Okay.
13.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Alright, anyone else doing anything?
I'm gonna, as we're walking, just looking around, making it obviously look like it's the first time in a new town, so just kind of like in checking everything out. But specifically, I want to be looking to see if anyone seems to be following us, and also every time we like make a turn or when we enter the graveyard, I want to try to look specifically for like an exit route if something happened and we had to run. Like, is there always a way for us to go, or are we being walked into like a cornered area?
Okay, I can also make a perception check. That's a 10.
Jesus.
I mean, you still have your artificer thing that you can add if you want to. If you can, you? Strike of Genius.
Question.
Yeah, I mean, flash of genius, but like,
Oh, flash, not strike. I'm just reminding you. I'm just saying, You don't have
No,
to
I know. I personally don't want to do anything that's like magical. So
Well, Flash of Genius
Oh,
is
yeah.
magical. It's just, you know, you like remember stuff. You like a genius, and that's what allows you to have certain, you know. Yes, I saw.
Since,
fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll
since
add it.
we are altered self into humans, do we get the human attributes of getting heroic inspiration?
No.
Aw,
Unfortunately,
Shoot.
not. You're only altered
I tried.
into a human, but
I tried. Oops.
yeah. But Eirik
I
is a human, and you would have an
Yeah.
inspiration for the day.
I mean, I'll just use the +5.
It's morning. Could be a long day.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're walking and you're like, you know, actively looking around for any followers, and most people seem to be ignoring you, and most are like indulged in prayer for the most part, and just kind of walking very slowly towards either the church or to the houses. There are a few food stalls, though you don't see any obvious tavern, you don't see any inns or stuff like that. There are no large groups of people anywhere, and it is very strange. Though there aren't like very many enclosed spaces here. In fact, much of the area is very open. The houses aren't built very close to each other. There's a lot of space between them. And even as you're kind of walking towards this graveyard or park or garden, as he calls it, it is flanked by the light church and the cathedral, though there's a lot of space between them. It's like a very, very large graveyard, and you can see a bunch of tombstones stacked. And you can see that in the middle of this, past the kind of semi-bridge walkway that connects the church and the cathedral, beyond that, there seems to be a gazebo, just kind of sitting there, moderately sized, built, and probably where he's leading you towards. He's kind of somewhat beelining towards it. And there aren't a lot of people in your vicinity. It seems quite empty. The one thing does catch your eye as you're kind of walking towards it, is you walk past these tombstones, and these tombstones are like very intricately designed, where every single one of them is like this pure white marble, and you can see that there are like these red flowers engraved in each one of them. And on top, sitting on the tombstone itself, there seems to be a small statue of an angel weeping, and with its wings it is carrying a small bowl. So it seems to be like also an offering bowl, you know, when maybe people or family of the deceased kind of wish to give something there. And as you're kind of looking at these graveyards, you know, very either nervous or curious, you catch the glimpse of one of them, just read one of the names, and you read the name Renalia Septimus as you're walking towards the gazebo.
Can I just keep track of time for the altar selves as the arcanist in the group?
Yes, you can definitely do that. And
Yeah.
after a while, it does take like 5 minutes just to get to this gazebo because he's walking so slow. He kind of sits down. It's like pushed up with stairs. You walk up there, and there are like a circle of benches and a small fountain in the middle where a few birds are kind of bathing themselves inside of there. And you can see while Greg is panicking, he kind of sits down and says,
Thank you very much for the assistance.
Of course.
I think Mrs. Kron, it was when if my ears don't beguile me.
Yes, you can just call me Fiera, though.
Why, Fiera. And I believe it was Judith.
Yes, that is me.
Used to be my mother's name. And
Oh.
Francis.
Glad.
Yes.
And,
Pleasure.
Selena.
Yes.
Oh, well, once again, pleasure to make your acquaintance. And I know these times are quite difficult, but I hope we can have speak as openly as possible. And I believe well, Godric has informed me about your arrival, and let's just say I am aware of why you are here today.
Well, that helps. I guess before we do speak, I just want to make sure. It's kind of hard to describe levels of magic, but are we able to use basic magics here? I know there's a maiden. What's considered, I guess, against the rules? Or what would upset them?
Well, it depends what you deem as upsetting. They are keeping an eye out of any sort of magical activity within Undorn. So as soon as any spells or magically infused abilities are casted, they will become aware of it and who has casted it.
I see. Well, we have many parties that are keeping an eye on us. Would they... well, they won't be able to stop that. Do you think they'd be upset if we just open an arcane eye to see if anybody's keeping an eye on us?
I trust that within Undorn, no prying eyes from the outside will be able to reach you.
That does make things easier.
That's comforting.
A reason why not much is known of our humble small village, though it is so in the open. To our benefit and to our demise, we are secretive. Which takes me to, well, maybe the first point of order.
And he kind of sits a bit upright and almost seems to be getting like a little bit more serious.
I am sure we feel similar in one way. I do not know much of you and your agendas, as you do not know much of mine and or our goals. And I am quite sure, as learned scholars and scribes, you have came here to learn. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes, mostly.
Yes. To seek out, perhaps, information.
There's not a lot of places you can find information on blood these days. And a lot of it is being used in a way that is disagreeable to us.
Yes. A curious line of morals that gets drawn differently from person to person. And so it is important for me to, before I answer any questions, I wish to gauge where you stand as individuals, as a group, as people who call this plane their home. I hope you understand.
It's not the first time it's happened. So as long as you treat us fairly, we can do the same with you.
I merely am here to talk.
He then kind of puts both of his hands kind of like clasped together, and then kind of takes a breath in. That's where we're gonna take our break. As we are at the halfway mark, and it is an old man. As we all know from old men, they do like to talk a lot. So, before he starts squabbling on, you can empty your bladders to not interrupt the old man, because he has to empty his bladders, aka I have to, and we'll see you after the break. Bye. And we are back. Now all of the players are dressed accordingly to the environment. Red. Yeah. And you all are now kind of sitting in this small gazebo. The winds are blowing through, waving your hair as you kind of sit in front and or next to Benedict V. Marsh, as he kind of clasps his hand together to talk to you guys. And kind of perches himself up and leans a bit forward from the bench he's sitting on and says,
We currently see our lives put to test by the many disasters that are repeatedly bringing our world closer and closer towards what seems to be absolute chaos. And within this chaos, troubles brew in the minds of all people. And for that reason, we, you, everyone begins seeking an answer. Seeking a target. One which they can blame and put to fault. This is Chaldean nature. Without understanding, we are met with a terrible fate. You understand? And it is amplified during times of distress. The things that were kept secret now become the sudden attention of everyone, and are either seen as the solution to our problem, or are blamed for causing them in the first place. While they might not even be related to the conflict at all. It is in these moments where the treacherous pits of not knowing something becomes the greatest moral challenge we have to face. How can we judge the relevance of something that we do not fully understand? And how can we make a decision on its importance to our current situation? When does not knowing something become harmful? And when does knowing something become not harmful? You came here with the intent to learn. So I hope, for your own interest, that you have asked yourself these questions before. I am a gatekeeper. I know many dark secrets, many of which are locked inside of this small village. Information
I am sure is bound to bring disaster if it gets into the wrong hands. And it has happened before. An inevitable fate once the information is known. I do not see myself as someone who deserves to know everything I do, but I will make judgments on those who wish to know the things I do. And he kind of raises his finger. For the gods are gone. The heaven is lost, and hell has now become the home to our ancestors. Tell me, why do you deserve to know the truth?
Guess I can begin. I guess I should tell you first. You're gonna have to make a choice soon, or it may be taken away from you. I at least know of 2 other factions that are racing the way here. Racing the way to some end where they seek the truth. We have a different mission, though. Honestly, it's probably naive. But we want to try to stay good to our morals and try to make this world better. There's so many forces out there that are up for revenge, that seek power to strike at those that they don't understand, to revisit history, to bring up a war. We just want to live with our friends, with our family. Years ago, this world did have peace. I want to bring that peace back. And I know it will take delving into history to do it. And people like us who know that you can only go so far. And that if we go too far, we'll do more damage than good to ourselves, our friends, our family, the future. We're trying to do the right thing of what we think is good for us.
I can see you have a kind heart. But many people do. Many people I have talked to before. The reason why I am giving you this subsequent warning is because your goals might change after you learn the truth. You say 2 other factions come here seeking the truth. It is not just 2. It is many. And we have fought them before. They are eager to learn. And in the same ways, they are not much different than you 4. The great uncertainty comes therein, for I do not know what your actions will be after you learn the truth. I once knew someone who I trusted. She gave me information. Responsibility. And she did not change after discovering the truth. But she came to the conclusion that not knowing it was better served than knowing it.
We've traveled quite a bit. One thing we're good at is finding information, like that of your Lazula. The young girl who was a prodigy, and when her eyes were opened, she chose to close them and bring others with her. We've gone to one of her previous unfinished research facilities. We found a devil of hers. We could have made a deal with this devil. We had the opportunity. But we knew that that isn't the right path. We also see what she sees, that this is dangerous, but someone is bound to find out the truth. And it should be someone who can see that they won't go too far, that have friends that can stop them. I trust these around me to stop me if I go too far. I know if I went alone, I would change things that could never be unchanged. But we keep each other in check.
Well spoken. And he kind of looks off to the side, almost as if he's like going through memories. And looking towards all of you again. And then he kind of looks down to his hands, and you can see they're like kind of trembling a bit. And he says, "Very well. I see. You have spent much time pondering over this question. And that is as much as I can expect from anyone else. What the future holds, well, only the future knows."
Not quite, but
Very well. I am willing to tell you as much as I can. What is it that you people seek?
can I get a time check on our spells?
Yeah, you have like still half an hour left.
Okay. I guess first I'll begin with a friend of mine, since we just finished that ordeal. We met the commander of the new Legion of Unholy Blood. A weapon of his was obtained. We fought a creature inside of it. There was a soul inside. It seemed to be a creature of blood, but it was almost humanoid. What can you tell us about creatures of blood? Because we've seen quite a few.
Yes. Yes. Kind of stands up and says, Let me take you inside. And he kind of walks off the gazebo. And I presume you follow him. He walks past the gravestones once again, and he walks towards the section that connects the cathedral and the light church, and walks towards the cathedral. And there you can see the very dark exterior walls of the cathedral itself, and it looks extremely weathered, almost like dirty, similar to the cathedral in Cologne. It seems to have, stood here for a very, very long time, and presumably constructed before light chrysalises were used. So it is a marvel that it's able to stand for that long without the use of light chrysalises. And he kind of takes you there. There's like just a small door that leads inside. It's this old brown wooden door that he kind of opens. And inside you can see a darkened hall that has a red velvet carpet that rolls all the way down. It's a decently long hallway that goes about like 30 to 40 feet. There are red candelabras set on the sides of the walls that emit a very warm coloration. And on the walls themselves are many different paintings of individuals that you definitely do not recognize. And he kind of steps inside and ushers you all within. And you can see you pass by one door that has this mahogany dark wine red coloration to it, very well crafted. But also seems like when you go to like an old museum or stuff like that, where they showcase old buildings and how they were, and it's like very similar feel. And in the second door, he kind of opens it, and you can see a small plaque before he opens the door where his name is inscribed in it, almost as if it's like his office. And he just kind of also takes you inside, and the room is like 15 to 20 square feet. Large. On the right side there seems to be a desk with several paperworks, feathers used for writing, ink vials. Behind him he has like a big map of the local region placed there, and this map is flanked by two bookcases which are filled with books. And on the left side you can see it's kind of blank, just with a painting of himself kind of there, and a woman that you also do not recognize painted on there. Though on the painting itself you can't recognize that it's him, but he looks a lot younger in the painting than what he now looks like. Yeah, and you can see in the middle there's a white rug with a red Holy Religios symbol in the middle of it, and there's also seems to be a small table in the middle with a couch and a couple of chairs set beside there. And he just kind of lets you guys take a seat.
Yep, be comfy.
Mm-hmm.
And before he starts, I will say to him, since he's gonna trust us, look to the others. So how about we make sure we're all on equal footing here? Is everyone okay showing who they actually are? If he's going to give us trust, I think we should do the same for him.
The problem, I have no problem showing who I am. But when we go to leave,
I can help with that.
Didn't the light cleric, not the light cleric, but Mr. whoever back in Ovalmir say that he could vouch for us anyways? So I have no problem with that. And I'll drop the altar self, and I'll bow deeply to Benedict and say, allow me to freely present myself. I am Isarel Leofina. from Corvalli.
Far away, Kovali.
Yes, yes, indeed. My father was one of the nobles there in the city before things started going wrong. I am on a mission to bring back peace.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
And also kind of does it like a elven-esque bow, though with his old age, it's a little bit
Yeah.
trouble.
And after that, I'll sit next to Fiera.
I'll watching Iserel do that. I kind of turn and look at her and start like just freaking out a little bit and like, okay, drop alter self on myself and my name is Eirik Spanner from Suna Anir. I apologize if the way that I act comes across as a little bit rude. I don't have that much experience with people of your status, and it's quite overwhelming for me.
No offense taken. In any behavior that you might do, I'm aware of how I might seem to other individuals, but I hope you can somewhat rest assured within this space.
If my companions are at ease enough to be truthful with you, then I am right there with them.
It is always a pleasure to have someone, not only to gain, but also to give one's own trust. So I am thankful for the opportunity.
And I'm gonna just reach down and just grab Iserel's arm, and like my hand is just shaking.
I'll put my hand on his hand to kind of reassure him and just give him like little pats through.
I will drop the spell and do a little bow and say, I am Jade Nightlock. I come from the Carvine Ravine.
Also, very far you all are. Quite widespread throughout Azathia.
Yes. I will do my best to trust you, but trust for me is very difficult to give. So I mean no disrespect if I seem standoffish.
Understandable and understood.
But if my companions are trusting you, I will do my best.
I appreciate the effort, and I think that is oftentimes more than enough to ask for.
And he kind of, before he sits down, he walks over towards his, behind his desk, and then he opens one of the drawers behind it, and seems to be taking out like pieces of parchment, almost like documents, and closes the drawer again, and walks over back and sits into like a single chair. You probably are sitting on the couch, and then just places them in front of him, and he then once again looks at you, Fiona, and says, "So you wish to know about creatures of blood?"
I guess maybe generally just how blood is used as magic in general, or it can make creatures, or why it's so popular among sinners.
Well, before I answer this question, I think it might be wiser to let me know what your current understanding of blood magic is, and then maybe I can fill in any gaps or correct any misunderstandings.
I guess I could start from the beginning. So believe it or not, we met, well, I guess 3 of us met in Sunanir about a month ago. And our first interaction was with what was called Calyx the Everdamned, an original sinner who put a blood mark on the 3 of us. That was fun. We were kind of destined to deal with it, it seems. We followed a trail. We found the first light bearer. We found a field of blood red flowers and a tree with fruit. He didn't kill us because we didn't want to use blood magic. We didn't see how it could help when it does so much harm for the cost. So yeah, then we ate the fruit from the tree, got sent to hell. Let's see, what happened after that with blood? Found the river Styx. Turns out that creatures of blood are coming from it. Then we found Eve.
Good night, Dad.
Jay shouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. The sword that, or the spear that stabbed Eve, cured us of the blood mark and sent Calyx back. Oh, the blood after that. I mean, we've learned about Xerxes Kivith and his experiments with that led to the Vilnius Blood Curse. Calyx stuff. Abilities.
The when we were escaping Sunanir, we fought by the fountain.
Right. We were in Sunanir when the whole Legion took it over and were farming the blood of the citizens. They were changing themselves. They were doing a ritual to unlock the powers of blood that I was put in for a little bit before I broke out. So we saw what they were doing there, but we didn't really understand it. We managed to escape.
And this weapon you spoke of was the
Right, the
creature.
commander used it. I guess Jade. Know that you have your night. What was it called? Nightlock axe? Do you still have the sword as well?
That was actually a question I was going to ask Jack, if it's if it just transformed, because the conditions with my axe. So I'm assuming I don't have it anymore.
It transforms. Like the current shape is sealing the sword inside.
That's what I thought. So I removed it from my inventory. So, no, it morphed into what I have now.
Yeah, she was using it originally, and we found out that there was a blood creature inside that was trying to take over her. We managed to go inside her mind and defeat it, more or less. So now she has control over the magics.
Well,
It was a creature of
fam-
blood.
To be specific, my family has control over it.
Right.
And we discovered that when combining the blood of the mark that we received from Calyx with my own human blood, we were able to create a potion of healing. It was out of pure curiosity, just created something out of blood.
It was only your blood, though.
It was, admittedly, I did want to try with everyone else, but we didn't necessarily have the time to do it.
Because you and I tried and it just didn't work.
Right.
Yeah. The point is, blood physically created something, in that sense, helpful to us.
I see. Well, you have amounted quite the few interactions with blood magic, it seems. Well, blood magic as a term is in itself a little bit misleading. There are a lot of components that are at play when we talk about blood magic. The first one I would like to bring to your awareness, which will be important to understand much of what goes with blood magic.
And he kind of pushes one of the papers he took out forwards, and it seems to be like research documentations.
This is one of the papers that my dear friend Lazula made when she was researching blood and its components. And she discovered something quite curious. And that is that there is not one type of blood, but in all of Chaldean kinds, our blood is split into 3 different parts. They refer to it as red blood, dark blood, and holy blood. During their investigations, they would find out that a average mortal Chaldean individual has a split of about 95% red blood, 4.9% holy blood, and only a tiny amount of 0.1% dark blood. However, it was found out that in certain individuals, especially within elves and gnomes, or people who seem to have a more deeper connection or attunement with the magical weave, it is offset a bit, and they have 87% red blood, 12.99% holy blood, and 0.01% dark blood. And it was consistently discovered the more holy blood an individual had within their body, the less dark blood they had. And this is why when we are discussing blood magic, it gets complicated. For depending which type of blood is being utilized, different effects occur. One of the most notable things, which I'm pretty sure you will be quickly to gauge on your own, is that it seems like holy blood suppresses any amounts of dark blood inside of a system. When combined, holy blood reacts strongly against dark blood. Now remember this. Every Chaldean individual possesses from birth dark blood. And we have found, credit should be given to Lazula, that trace amounts of demonic blight are found within dark blood. Which means every single Chaldean individual possesses demonic blight from birth.
Does that mean it is one of the reasons why, if you die, well, when you die, actually, you will eventually turn to a demon? That means the demonic blight ends up taking over, correct?
That is what we believed as well. This should be the logical conclusion. However, holy blood very specifically suppresses the effects of dark blood to an extent that when an individual dies, the trace amounts of dark blood within their system get completely erased with holy blood, which means we have discovered that within corpses who are not in contact with any other sources of demonic blight possess no artifacts of demonic blight, but instead show an increased amount of holy blood. And we have made the connection that is through holy blood that we are able to access and manipulate the weave. People who do not possess any holy blood. And we have speculated that these might have been the divine gifts that the gods gave us long ago, that granted us access to the magical weave. And people without it do not have access to magic. Now, to the even more stranger part when discussing blood magic. You have talked about creatures that have been formed differently through blood magic. Who would you suspect would be the culprit of this transformation?
Well, against Calyx, he made creatures. And against the blood creature, it split off a part of himself. So isn't the wielder?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You see, all the effects that you have seen up until now have been products of holy blood and not dark blood. Calyx was punished by the gods
His dark blood has been stripped from his body. And the influence he possesses is that of divine magic. That is the next point. There seems to be some sort of seal. We presume to be it on every living Chaldean being. If the concentration of dark blood increases through natural and unnatural means, there's an automated response from holy blood that wishes to suppress it. And during that, a large amount of magical energy is released, almost as if a trigger is being activated. And these effects almost seemingly punish the individual who has increased dark blood within their system. We could determine that they transform into weird beings. We can determine that some of them lose control of their own soul. And as far as we are concerned, their souls are then brought to a different plane. One of which you are already very well aware of. Hell. So we learned that there's something preventing us from gaining too much dark blood.
Can you describe? I guess we don't fully understand what happened to Eve. I heard Adam found some sort of truth and went against the creators, and they changed. Eve grew horns. Adam we haven't seen, but we talked to someone of his, I don't know, army, and they use blood magic. So were the horns a product of a change in their blood?
Assuming they gained horns and ours aren't being suppressed. Speaking about truths, I think you are aware of the cave of Lazarus' last descent.
Yes.
Within that cave, a couple of things were salvaged, including that blade of yours. But not only that. Broken, old, ancient fragments of texts also found. We believe that the fragments that we discovered belong to a larger collection. And the stories within them were very, very similar to the Lichnius Biblicum, the Bible that the Holy Lichnius lives by. But we know that these texts we found within that cave are much, much older than the ones from the Holy Lichnius. That is when we realized the Lichnius Biblicum is a edited replica of, we called it the Dark Bible. Both describe a different past of our world. One tells the war, or the story of a war that happened 1,000 years ago. One I'm quite sure we are all familiar with. The angelic armada attacking the dragon and devil empire. However, the Dark Bible told the war of over 10,000 years ago. And back then, only one humanoid race existed. There were no elves. There were no humans, gnomes, halflings, orcs, goblins. None of these existed. There was one race. One to which we believe Adam, Eve, and the other of the sinners belonged to. The texts that we found are still fragmented, and we couldn't learn much. But it is true that from these texts we learn that whatever Adam and Eve and the other sinners discovered made them wage war against the gods. They discovered a truth that they couldn't ignore. That changed them. They lived in absolute peace, prosperity, bliss given by the gods. But this truth they discovered, it changed everything.
Can I show you what we saw? We were given a glimpse into the past a bit. And I can share that with you if you're open to it.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, I'll take out the token of divine guidance, and so people know what I'm doing.
Is this
when
going
I
to cause a problem?
It
Just-
shouldn't. I'm not really casting a spell, it's just something different. So when I touch a creature with this coin, they can see the vision of the divine emissary, how the four creators fought the war of creation and created the primordial humans to overcome the demonic hordes, which we saw. The greatness which they brought to Chaldeus and the peace that reigned for thousands of years before it was broken by the first sinners, through which another war ensued, and once again they won. The creators marked the primordial humans and transformed them into Chaldean kind that we know. Then the creators' lights fade and falls into chaos. So all this, kind of put down his hand so you can see that.
Yep, he touches it. He doesn't seem too taken aback as you maybe would have expected. He just kind of closes his eyes, slowly nods, opens his eyes again and says, "Yes, not unsurprising."
So it seems we were given I don't know what you call it, a perspective of the creators rather than of the primordial humans.
Most definitely. None of us, and I don't even know if the creators themselves would know what the truth is that the first sinners discovered
that made them abandon peace and wage war. Well, this conflict stirred during the days of the Crimson Lotus. The sanguine scholars were eager to learn this truth. This comes to my next point. What is underneath our humble village? The cathedral we are in right now was built by the scholars, though it was only later discovered that there was actually something beneath this village. And Lazula was the first to discover, but soon after the other scholars would also had an inkling that there was more going around in the area. For here specifically, it seems like the concentration of dark blood increases, and that holy blood is being suppressed. Minimal amounts, but definitely noticeable. And so people began searching, because as soon as you drifted away from Undorn, the properties, specifically the healing ones, to cure demonic blight, disappeared. Which is why the blood administration, which is what it was called in order to heal demonic blight and any physical ailment that a humanoid could get, could only be done in Undorn. And indeed, they discovered a tomb of sorts beneath Undorn. And it currently seals one of the many warriors, captains, commanders, or legionnaires of the First Sinner's army down below. The devil you spoke to
Right.
was one of
He
his
was-
soldiers. And so, of course, the sanguine scholars and their curiosity, they needed to know if they were able to unlock this seal, where this sinner is currently held within. They might be able to gain the truth, the same one that Adam and Eve was given. But luckily, before they could release the seal, Lazula sacrificed herself to stop them from doing that.
So you're sure she is gone?
Very likely.
Hmm. I guess we're trying to figure out. The Legion of Holy Blood seems to have an agenda. We don't know what their goal is. I'm sure they want the truth, but they seem to be doing some sort of ritual. They're collecting blood. But there's also 2 items that have gone, missing from the vault. A chalice and a finger. Are you familiar with either of those items that would have been locked away?
Isorel is going to instinctively kind of massage her hand that is missing a finger.
Yeah. He kind of looks towards you, and he kind of closes his eyes once again and nods, and he says,
Yes, these 2 artifacts that have been stolen were the last 2 things that were retrieved from the cave. One of which is a finger. Melador's finger.
Ouch.
It is the finger that belongs to the individual who is sealed beneath Undorn. The second item is the chalice of impurity. It can turn any red or holy blood into dark blood.
Oh.
Does the existence of a chalice like that imply that there's also something that does the opposite effect?
The opposite effect is happening to you this very moment. The holy blood inside of your body is constantly turning dark blood back into red blood.
So we are chalices in ourselves, and then there is this chalice that does the opposite, that was created to make the opposite.
Yes, and I would assume that the first sinners, it would probably function the other way, that their blood perhaps suppressed holy blood and turned it into dark blood instead. But I cannot say that for certain.
Blood. And do you happen to know about a lunar eclipse? A blood red moon?
No.
We heard an omen from Calyx that it seemed inevitable.
Unfortunately, it's the first time I'm hearing of a lunar eclipse.
Where's my notes? Where is it? There it is. When the sky is painted red and the moon starts to bleed, the crimson lunar eclipse will hold for me all the things I truly need. And when the scarlet rain hits the earthen floor, I shall rise again to hunt once more. I don't think that was about Calyx.
It might not have been. But these words, unfortunately, do not sound familiar. It doesn't ring any bells.
See. Well, I guess we need to figure out what to do with this information. What do we want to achieve? What do we want to stop? We don't want the Holy Legion to complete whatever they're doing. We don't want this other faction to gain access to certain things, like Lazula's key. So how do we stop them? You don't know what Lazula kept away, do you? That she would have given to this devil she has captive?
Well,
He kind of looks like very somber towards the table and the notes he has. Specifically, like the research note that kind of Lazula wrote. Looks towards you.
when she visited me the last time, she told me she was creating a seal. And that she's going to lock herself away with the other scholars.
Lock herself away.
And she entrusted me with the answer.
I see. I guess I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I've gotten a glimpse of the future. If we don't get what he's guarding, one of the factions I mentioned before does. And from what I can tell, it's a weapon. A weapon with power that hasn't been seen in a while.
The only way we're going to be able to get it is if we make a deal with him. He wants us to, like, release him.
Well, I know the passcode.
Well, that would be useful. So we just tell him the passcode and then gives us whatever he's guarding?
But is it safer with you, or is it safer with it? And I must disagree, Fiara. I do not think he holds a weapon. He holds a simple key. But the one key that will unlock the seal Lazula has placed on the door that is keeping Malador shut. Unless Lazula has even kept a secret away from me.
Interesting. So we need a path. Let's say, for instance, we found a reason for you to give us the pass code, passphrase. We got the key from this devil. We went to the seal that Lazula created. Why would we undo it?
Exactly. It
We
would
could just protect it, but like you said, this devil has it pretty well protected, and you seem to be the only one that knows the passphrase.
Yes. Though, her seal is strong. Incredibly so. But every seal can be broken. And I have the fear. With Melador's finger, they might be able to do so. His power grows tremendously strong. The effects of it are...
Sorry.
Bless you.
Ooh.
See, even just talking about it brings harm to our bodies and soul.
Understand.
I thought I was not muted, went to mute myself, and I was already muted, so I unmuted myself.
Classic.
The vile powers.
Yes. Keep going.
Well, the other alternative is we aren't even sure if Melador is in any capacity evil.
That's true.
All I know is that old Friedrich, leader of the Holy Blood Legion, seems to be very keen on finding it. So I did some research myself, going through the old archives of the Sanguine Scholars, and I've found out something interesting about him, and which somewhat explains his connection to all of this. And he kind of takes a few papers and then slides it down the table for you guys to read. And you can see a letter in front of you that is a kind of long passage that seems to be like a documentation, and it's like in a folder that says on the top, almost like comedically, like top secretly, you know, when it says top secret in this red font, it says Septimus Blood Fertilization. And I will give you the text because it's quite long, but I will also read it so the viewers can, you know it, just because so you don't have to write everything down. Here it is.
Oh.
So, you can read along if you wish. We have uncovered the properties of blood. There exists a duality within it. The holy blood seems to heavily suppress the dark blood, and there's no way to controllably extract the holy blood and study the effects of pure dark blood in a grown individual and their potential attunement towards blood magic. We made effort to collect dead fetuses who died just after birth. Within the small carcasses, we will extract all of their blood and replace it with dark blood. After which we will use holy magic to reanimate the dead fetus
and see if they are able to live with only dark blood. We have 7 subjects to test from. The first 3 were given 100% dark blood. Unfortunately, they didn't reanimate and remained dead, which came to our surprise. For the next one, we decreased the concentration of dark blood. The 4th subject got reanimated, though it did not grow to any substantial age. The fetus managed to survive for 4 months. However, it had heavy mutation to its body, developing 3 irregular horns, blackened eyes, and a much paler skin. A hole within its chest started to form as well, which compromised its lung and as such led to its death. The 5th and 6th fetus were more successful, as we now more heavily decreased amounts of dark blood and tampered a bit with the red blood and infused it with different types of magics. They would grow up together and be raised under supervision by one of our mates to study if they show any unusual traits that might deviate from our expectations, both physically and emotionally. Both would show similar body mutations similar to the 4th subject, but not as strongly. However, after a certain stage, the 5th subject would die under similar reasons as the 4th subject. Through the expanding hole within its chest, his bodily functions got compromised, and after 5 years it would die. The 6th subject, however, managed to survive, even with the hole within their chest. The bodies got heavily compromised by the bodily change, and they were in constant care and needed permanent medical attention to not die. The 7th subject was our best result yet. It grew up like any other child, though it hasn't developed the hole within its chest, which meant their body wasn't compromised by it, like it does with the 6th subject. They proved to have the average intelligence to children their age, and its learning seems to be not different either. Their skin is paler, and their canines have also grown a bit. From a behavioral and emotional perspective, they also seems to fit the norm, relative to the environment they are in, though they tended to avoid bright environments and wish to stay inside. We also had to feed it enough red blood on a regular basis to offset the concentration of dark blood within its body, and so it wouldn't go off balance again. We have given him time to study blood magic, and as suspected, he seems to have a greater attunement to it than anyone we have encountered so far. His skills become more potent than even some of our most trained scholars. Because of this, Xerxes took great interest in him, and the subject would be put into his care. On the point of order, though we have extracted all holy blood from the bodies, once they were reanimated through the use of magic, many of the red blood cells which we added to the later subjects to balance out the concentration of dark blood they had, were transformed into holy blood. Not only did it stay, but almost like cancer, it grew exponentially and almost took over like it does in grown bodies. There seems to be a mechanism within our bodies at large which promotes the rapid growth of holy blood, which leads directly to the suppression of dark blood. This effect gets dramatically amplified when the concentration of dark blood is above the average and often leads to death. This exponential increase in holy blood also had morphological effects on the body. During the growth of the children with a higher concentration of dark blood, the morphological features seem to deviate from the race they belong to. Or more accurately, the features would be pulled back. End of note.
So Xerxes giveth is part of all this.
Oh, he was the one who introduced blood magic.
Right. Do you know where he is now?
If anyone knew, that would be great information.
Right.
Does anyone at least know what he looks like?
We know that he is a mage. His appearance doesn't really matter much.
Yeah, figured as much. We came in here with a simple disguise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a crazy thought.
Do you want to share that thought?
I may be way off on this, but no, it's crazy. I'll rethink about it and
No, you already started.
okay. How long has Xerxes been around?
Oh, hundreds of years.
Yeah, freaking long, right? And he introduced blood magic. We just dealt with a blade that was cursed with a soul inside of it and all that. And who gave it to us? A very mysterious mage that has been around for frickin' long.
You don't. Oh.
Yeah. I'm starting to wonder if they are one and the same.
That's why they were like just that much more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And
it makes sense.
they've
Maybe.
never been seen together.
You might be onto something.
I think that's a big if.
I know.
That's
And
something to keep in
like I said,
mind.
it's a crazy thought. It is a crazy thought.
But with Jack, you have to expect the unexpected.
Jade says.
Who's
Who's Jack?
Jack?
Who's Jack?
Who's
Sorry.
Jack?
That Jack, he's the ultimate BBG.
Hello.
My bad.
She's
I got
saying
out of
goodnight to Dad, and now she's talking about Jack.
What's going on?
Oh, she's talking to her store. There's a Jack
I-
ancestor in there. You know.
Yeah. Jade is
saying
having
strange
some
things.
thoughts with her ancestors right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, let's think about what we can do.
I need to. Okay, I need to note this down just in case.
Just in case. Okay, one thing is when we talk to
Xerxes kiveth Zephagus. Xerxes Zephagus.
they both have Z's.
No. Okay, listen.
You're going down a
I
rabbit hole now.
I gave you the
This
one.
is a big rabbit hole. She's lost.
I'm going down the Iric rabbit hole right now.
I'm not even that nuts.
But I don't know, maybe because Zephagus did give Jade that cursed weapon.
Yeah, I still don't understand that. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll put a pin in that. How about that? Put a pin in it.
We need more red wires.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Izrael's gonna be gone for a while. Alright, so Xylicasa, the
That's how I
devil
feel.
that is holding the key, is somehow less crazy than Izrael right now. He did mention, though, that he had a method for giving us the key or releasing him. So it may just be a matter of time before he does his own thing, now that Laszlo's not there to keep him in check.
He said he was done and he'd make any deals he could to get out.
He seemed to know how to get out, if we were willing to help him. Which we weren't.
I mean, I kind of was, if I'm being honest. But you guys talk sense than me.
I'm just trying to think what we can do. If we got the key, we could check on the seal, and if it's intact, we could leave it be, and then protect the key on our own. We could check if Laszlo's even alive.
I worry about us taking the key because we've already got the feeling that we're being watched.
I think it's just a matter of time before somebody else does, though.
I mean, you're probably right. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be 100% sure that we're going to take this key, and we need to do everything we can to make it so we're not being watched. If somebody sees us to take that key, they're going to come for us, and they're going to come for us hard. Let's not
It's true.
think like we already have some big enemies.
I do know that that facility is protected from divination. I can protect us as we get there, to a certain degree. There's no perfect method. The hardest part is we already know that what's the Covenant of the Heart, I think it was. They already know that we've been there. But we also know that they're working to get it. And now we know that if they do retrieve Laszlo's key, they're one step closer to getting that seal before we do.
We can't have that.
Yeah, I talked to Kendith recently. He sounded like he would stop at nothing to find the truth that the first sinners were looking for. He has no limits. We saw he experimented on the Chimera with that cube, whatever it was called, that could change a creature.
Yeah, I don't like to think about that thing.
Yeah, they'll just keep making more.
Well, there's only one thing that is certain at this time. It is that eventually they will descend, or at least attempt to descend Lazula's cave. It is still heavily guarded by a division of Holy Religios Crusaders. They know of its importance. But that is the ultimate goal. And it's only a matter of time that either one of these many factions will make their way there.
We don't have a choice at this point. We need to secure it before somebody else does. When do we go?
Yeah, this is the path we're put on.
Yep. Much as we tried to put it off, I guess.
Okay. Well, I guess if you allow us, I think we should get that key and then head toward Lazlo's cave.
Yeah.
And you all agree on this?
I think so. Eric, are you in?
As with most things we're doing,
He's not, but he'll do it.
way bigger than my brain can even comprehend. But I'm not letting you disappear.
Mm.
I trust in our abilities, and I trust in our sanity for the most part. We have a path. It's clearly not going to be easy, but what are we going to do? Just go the other way now?
We have to try. So it's gonna get out. Blood magic, this information, history. We have to try to make it be for the betterment rather than anything else.
That's basically the thought process of how we all began, however many Voss ago. We were talking about completely different sources of power at that point, but the sentiment is the same.
And personally, I kind of want to help Lazla if she is out there. She seems like a good egg.
It's very strange for me, admittedly. You remind me a lot of her. Was the only elf I ever saw that had red hair too.
Interesting. Interesting. Oh, and just for Irik's sake, we've used a lot of fire against these blood creatures, and they seem quite resistant. Any reason or any way we can counteract it?
Well, I think it comes from the nature that blood, well, is wet.
Uh,
Presume if it's if it's potentially hot enough, yeah, we might have better results. But well, actually, on that note, there's a lot of blood magic that can produce a lot of heat, surprisingly. So I'm not quite sure what the connection towards that is, but I've seen a lot of blood mages who could make the blood in other people boil.
oh, Jesus.
Can we rewind and not hear that?
Yep.
I've raised my hand. And I drop it.
Oh, he cast. What's that one cantrip called? That joke cantrip. No, not Gift of Gab, but where you can like. Fuck. It was like a joke cantrip that was added to D&D Beyond that Sam casted during the Calamity one shot.
Oh, God.
God. Where
I don't remember.
where you can retract a sentence you said.
Isn't that Gift of Gab?
Yeah, it might be. Let me see.
Or it lets you go back like 6 seconds of what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a cantrip or no, second level spell. Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And just checking all the boxes. You haven't heard of Adam's dagger, have you? Because this guy seems to know everything.
Well, at least what is related to blood magic. He says, yes, well, dealing with the sinners you will eventually stumble upon. What happened to them? It seems like the souls and bodies have been separated. The souls are stored within a dagger, and their bodies are pierced by one of the spears.
Interesting. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Didn't think it was that high up the chain. Huh. Huh. Okay. Yeah, we need to get on this. Well, you also, I mean, I know, I don't want to ask how old you are, but you're welcome to join us if you want to go down this path.
My body's too frail. A simple gust of wind that is stronger than 2 miles an hour would knock me over.
I can hang on to you. I'm pretty strong.
Well,
We got a what camel dog thing.
Oh yeah, I got Gus.
Yeah, we could tie you tight, you know.
I can make you a little saddle for my camel, or if a camel's not your thing, I can make him a horse.
Please, no, I don't think I would be of any use in a physical confrontation. I barely managed to climb up the stairs to reach my bedroom.
Then, in all of your time, have you amassed any items or treasures that you think would help us? If you yourself can't come?
Items or treasures?
Anything that would help us.
Well, I unfortunately am but a pastor in this village. I do not gain access to any military or useful equipments that would benefit me in an altercation. Those are strictly kept for the Cosinium caretakers. And
Understandable. Just thought someone might have offered an offering of sorts.
Doesn't happen much here. No. And anything I would give would be related to blood.
I think I'll
I've
pass
had-
on that.
I've had enough trouble with blood-related items, so I'm definitely gonna pass. I feel like my family would probably murder me if.
Well, I guess if we head to Laszlo's cave, we need a way inside. Any recommendations there? If there's soldiers guarding it, they probably don't want us in.
Well, I would say that's a good sign. If you are still being kept out, that means the other two factions haven't made it that far. And there's no need to enter.
What do we do? Just like camp out in the front? We can't camp out forever.
Well, I would say if it's forever, that might be the best possible outcome. That means they would never reach the cave. And
it's not going to be forever.
And maybe that would be the perfect time spending on thinking about how to get rid of the key, so the seal can never be accessed.
That's a good point. We were given a time frame of probably 10 days. Do we have a map? North Azathia. There's the valley over here. Let's see. Oh, there's no hexes on here.
It would take 2 days to get to the valley.
2 days to the valley, then probably 2 to 3 days to the cave. That is in the timeline that we have. And I think that's what we do.
Assuming nothing else goes on in those days.
Oh, we could run
Oh.
into the Legion. We could run into the Covenant of the Heart.
Good.
We could
No.
run into this other faction that Jack hasn't mentioned. We could run into a demon. Just a plain old demon.
Yep.
Which is good. Honestly, we need practice. Okay. Well, I'm curious. What sort of phrase has your friend left that she thought nobody would crack?
Well, it is simpler than you imagine.
Oh no. I'm gonna feel bad if it's too simple and we could have got it.
Aluzal.
Yeah. Now here's another question. Do we have to be there in person to get the key? Or if I talk to him here and now, could I get it?
I do believe he's physically bound, and as far as I'm concerned, you only are able to talk with him when
He won't have a body if I did the other thing.
I'm presuming. I don't know if do you possess interplanar communication?
I do. But like you said, the way we summon him is to heal his body. How do we not try that? We saw it backwards on a wall.
You
Yep.
did.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
Yep.
In my defense, I left it up to you two
Yep.
because Jade is not a very intelligent person, and neither am I as a person. So
We saw it backwards on the wall.
We did. We had the key in our face. And then I destroyed it with a beautiful mural with a middle finger in the middle.
Yeah, that was worth it. We wouldn't have done that if we just got it, so I'll say it's
Yeah.
fine.
The finger was probably pointing right to the front, to the start of the word.
Yep.
Probably.
It is the easiest solutions that are the most troubling to find.
Tell me about it. It took us an hour to decipher that freaking puzzle on the ground. We had a hard time. And it turned out to be quite simple in the end.
You know, I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. May not understand it at the time. What would we have done if we would have got the code then? We weren't prepared for any of this. We didn't have all this information.
We probably would have gone straight to the cave.
I think if we would have been able to find it then, it would have been a lot worse. At least now we're more prepared and we understand what we're actually getting ourselves into.
It's true. We probably wouldn't have met you. So it's good that we came here.
Well, a blessing in disguise, I guess.
Interesting.
Then I believe there's not much time, and time is of the essence. If there are indeed other factions,
hasting towards Lazula's cave and all the key. Enough methods to get it. We shouldn't waste any of that precious time.
Right. Is it quicker to teleport to Ulvermere?
Let me see.
I can't tell from the North Azathia map. It
Uh,
looks closer.
actually, no, it's not.
Oh.
It would be like half a day to almost like a day longer
Okay.
to get there. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think I need to transform these two as we leave?
No, the gods already know what you look like. That's why they took your blood.
I knew it. I
Right.
knew it wasn't just that simple.
I frankly don't know why you all decided to become a different person with a
They
new
said it
name
was a bad
and a new
idea.
background.
They said it was a bad idea to come in here looking like ourselves. So of course I'm going to be cautious. Do you not know where I'm from?
Oh, I know. And I know you. It's okay. Okay. Well, I guess it was nice to meet you.
Same. And the disguise, it was my suggestion. It was so you can get through the gate. Not
Mm.
the blood, obviously. Hard to hide. So, amusing which names you chose.
You know, I tried to think of just something normal.
I impersonated my scripture teacher from my youth.
Oh, interesting.
It probably is a newest low in my life.
Tried to look as much like myself without my ears being in my skin tone, but everything else is me.
Mm.
I took the face of the person who taught me how to write. She was the first person I thought of.
Well,
Interesting.
you should be safe to leave.
I thought so. Sounds interesting. I kind of wonder what the other, not called states, are they called counties or because
But
there's different parts,
yeah, like provinces.
provinces. Yeah, I wonder what each one has to hide. Seems like each one has their own mystery.
Most definitely.
Oh, you'd probably be the best person. So Tellus invaded my home. I'm from Primerdeus. I saw a man with horns. And it was quite confusing. He acted quite normal.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do you think they're using dark blood to make their changes and be able to fight against the Lichenians?
Well, can you describe how the horns look like?
Oh God, what session was that? If I remember right, there were 3 horns that were kind of just randomly placed. Does that sound right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I do my best. I mean, I don't think Fiora would have forgotten.
And he kind of nods and he sounds like, and he says,
Sounds very much like the descriptor of how our ancestors looked like.
Interesting. The primordial humans.
Yes. So, did he have a hole in his chest?
I think I don't think he ever described that. So he must have been wearing armor or something.
He
I would
was
have remembered the hole.
he was
Or
a
did he?
black silhouette, like he was, and you could just only see the jagged horns and then
Yeah.
the eyes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Huh. I guess I could ask him. Maybe I'll look into that. Interesting. Everybody's trying to find the truth. I just don't like their methods. Okay, let's get going while we have some time for the day.
Very well. He kind of stands up, leads you to the door, and opens it. And you are free to leave. And I presume you do so.
Unless you guys want to, I don't think we're supposed to explore the town. We'd probably be in trouble.
Oh no!
I
I'm
think we
getting
should
the
just
fuck
leave.
out of here.
Head to the Black Church.
Nope.
Oh, you're inside of
let's
the
get
Black
out of here.
Church.
Oh, we're in the Black Church. Okay.
We need to get out of here as quickly as possible.
All right, let's go.
And you step back out to the winds, and as you kind of walk out of Undorn, because the gate guards are like heavily confused. They're like, but since you're leaving out, they don't seem to make any notice, and you can see that you also pass by like the three that kind of took your blood, and they just give like a nod,
Mhm.
and then just kind of pass you by without much.
Yeah, if I do see the captain, I'll just wave and be like, "Looks like we're leaving sooner than we expected. Won't be back anytime soon."
Aye. All right. Safe travels.
Yep, and
Yep.
Go.
Yep. Gone.
And you walk out, and you're heading towards the Korean Valley once again. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Then, are there any preparations or things you would like to do? It's a 2-day travel. It's not too long.
I believe, Eirik, I had bought some potions for you. Was it
Oh, yeah, she
2?
did.
Was it 2 that I
Um,
gave?
Yeah, you gave us 2.
Right?
Which I should have 5 potions, I think. Yep. So you,
Yeah,
you gave
so
me
2.
potions. I'm set.
Yeah, I know I bought 6. So I know I gave 2 to each of you.
Yeah.
So you should
Yeah.
be adding 2 regular healing potions.
Done.
Oh, and also I made something for you. And I hand you a spell scroll.
For me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I know you looked at that rod before, the one that can't move. I can't do that yet, but I might be able to in the future. So for now, you can try this. It's a scroll of magnified gravity. You can kind of pick an area, and the gravity will increase in that area. I'll send you the link on D&D Beyond. But
Yeah.
Spell scroll of magnified gravity.
Jeez. All right.
So you can have fun with that.
Yeah, do you remember that flower that some apothecary guy was looking for, that you had seen on the board back in Delit Solis? When you decided
was
to
one of the
go
quests.
after one of the quests. when you decided to go after a demon.
Right.
I took a little bit of a trip in the fields and happily deered my way to the flowers and may have brought like 3 times the amount they asked for.
Okay.
Which is why I have so many potions. And
My goodness.
yeah.
Well, thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah, we got busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much for Fiera. I'm gonna tune to that necklace finally. That'll be nice.
Oh yeah. Also, I have this fun new staff.
Great.
The staff of
It's
the
a-
woodland.
Yeah, it's a staff of the woodlands. Servalon himself may or may not have given it to me.
All right. Okay. Where did... What? I was in the tower the whole time, guys.
I druided a little too close to a tree and I ended up with a staff.
All right.
I can't say no to that.
No, that's fine. It's totally fine. I made a shield, so I'm not one to say anything.
Mm-hmm. It does look nice.
Sure as hell does. It works too, which is amazing.
Bonus.
I do want to remind you, Jade, that I still do have your chainmail in my bag of holding.
I know.
I think she's. Yeah, plate, right?
I have half plate now. It's there in
Half
case
plate.
something were to happen to my
Okay.
my current armor. And speaking of which, can you hold my shield again?
Yes, you can stuff it in there.
Okay, I give you back my shield.
Stuff it in.
It's a regular shield.
Yeah. Since I have a great axe, I can't use it.
Okay. All right. I put your shield in my stuff.
Thanks. You know, just in case something happens. You know.
Yeah, it's
Or-
good to have options.
You know. And if I want to be dumb, I can hold a hand axe and have my shield and run into battle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun day.
They had-
And it's not even midday yet.
Yes, quite early in the morning actually.
So a lot of information dump.
Okay, and so you just make your way, I presume, to the valley.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
don't-
start. Yeah.
It's not worth doing non-detection, right? For 4 of us, it would take me 3 third-level spell slots and a 4th-level spell slot
No.
for 8
fucking
hours.
No.
For what exactly?
For non-detection, protection against divination magic.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no.
It
That
would
is
take
such
like
a waste.
1,000 diamond dust to do it.
Oof.
But we'll be okay. They know we're coming. So yeah, let's just travel. Be careful. Prep for
I
anything.
can throw up my see invisibility if we think it's gonna at least help maybe give us a warning of some sort.
I mean, Kenneth can just appear is the problem. And he might
Let-
bring help. We really don't know.
Yeah.
Oh. Right. There was. That's gonna. don't take it the wrong way, Eric. And I'll just shuffle in my pockets and stuff, and I'll give you a platinum ring. Wear this, please.
I can wear it. It's not gonna do much good for me, though.
I know. Just wear it, please.
What is it?
Fear, will you wear this one?
What is happening?
It allows to create a bond.
It's friendship rings.
It allows to create a bond between you and I. As long as you stay within 60 feet of me, you get a bonus to your resistance, and you are resistant to all damage. And it lasts for an hour whenever I throw it up. So please, wear the damn ring.
Okay.
Fear, you too. You're kind of squishy, and I would prefer it if you're resistance to all damage.
Yep.
My only worry is, I don't know how this works compared to Baldur's Gate, but if you take damage, am I going to take damage?
Nope.
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 I can share the spell if you want me to.
Yep. I can share the spell.
Here, I got it right now.
Alright. There it is.
So what is this ring called?
No, it's just a platinum ring. It's just
Yeah.
one of the components. You just have to wear it. I have to wear it, and you have to wear it. And then Fiera
gotcha.
and Jade have to wear one each. So that we
Oh,
can...
it's only one way.
This is why I bought those platinum rings like a while ago before Izarel did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it for the saving throw. Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I love that we both have it so we can protect them.
Yes. Yeah. That's why when I saw that I had access to it, I was like, I need to get it as well so that we can protect our squishies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a lot of health now. I have the amulet of, or what's it? Enhanced amulet of health. So
What's your
actually,
AC?
we don't need to talk about that.
See, you're
So yeah, it's just a plain platinum ring that has nothing fancy. It's just so that I can create the bond whenever I need to.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, I guess I'll put it next to the ring of mind shielding.
You have a really fancy one though, Fiera, because I actually got designs on mine.
Oh, okay.
It's a competition.
Now I'm more interested. Yeah.
Oh
No, this
man.
is-
I
This
believe. Oh god, it
How much
had.
did you pay for it? It's a question.
They were
This is
50 gold.
hilarious. Yeah, they're 50 gold each.
Oh, I could
can't
put a
find the note.
diamond in it. I could put a diamond. I'm a
Um,
jeweler. Heck
it
yeah, I'm gonna
had-
do that later.
It had
Or ruby.
a quirky
that in?
quote on the wing.
yes. Yes.
So it
Quirky
was,
quote.
it was
Okay.
something like live, love, laugh. Or something
In
like
Elvish.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Where's our group money? There it is. What do I have in here?
Yeah, an Elvish
Oh,
would
we have a
be-
ton of emeralds.
Liebe, lach, liebe.
I'll think about it. Yeah, thank you.
Oh no, it. Oh no, that's something different.
Trying to find a one quote.
It's one of the weird notes that I actually wrote. Something like,
Okay. Well, while you're...
I wrote like the full description of what both the rings look like.
Oh, damn.
And then I just bought like they're like full platinum with maybe like some embossing or of some sort, but they're like very plain. Because I was like, I'm sure
Mhm.
Eirik would not appreciate having like fancy little squigglies and stuff. So I was like,
You are
This.
correct.
that.
Oh, right.
I, for once, feel a little bit better about going into the wild. A little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, and as Jade is trying to search for the inscriptions of the ring, you kind of make your way, by foot this time, towards the Korean Valley. And
We have Gus the camel.
Gus the camel. Well, he can kind of like comfortably carry 2 creatures, and then probably Icewell can turn into a warhorse.
Oh,
Yes, I can.
If you want to like
so we could go
expedite.
pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do kind of get pretty fast towards the river, which is like a bit of an obstacle, but you know, Fiera, you can just simply cast
I have fly.
Exactly, and Irie can actually fly. And I think Icewell can already turn into a flying creature,
Yes, I can.
and so there's no
My
problem.
speed doesn't increase though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you
My
can.
camel speed is 50.
But
My
yeah.
warhorse speed is 60.
Yeah. But I think your boots last like for an hour per day, right?
I can use it up to 4 hours.
Oh, 4 hours. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
more than enough to cross the river. You don't need 4 hours of walking. The river isn't that thick. You like can even see the other side from where you are, and so with your capabilities and everything, cross over.
I will turn into a giant swan to help my non-flying friends cross the river.
I think everyone can fly,
Squad.
well, because Fiera can just cast fly on.
Yeah, it's
Jade.
really easy to cast on everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can still turn into a swan and majestically fly over. Oh yeah, life is worth living. Oh, it fits so well.
Yeah.
It does. You have the warding bond. Life is worth living. That's what constantly sings inside of
From
your mind.
session 75.
Nice. Even that is written down. Yeah, and the first day of travel goes without much issue. You do kind of walk past the shattered ruins, and you do see like remnants, broken structures off in the distance, though probably you are more focused on getting to the valley as quickly as possible. So you bypass them. You probably camp out during the evening before you cross the river, like going over there during darkness, probably not the best idea. Chill there for a while, cross over, and at the midday of the second day, and you can see the kind of coasting hills and now the gravel ground of the Korean Valley once again as you kind of make your way up there. And as you do so, as you get like halfway up one of the hills of the valley, and you can almost see like crossing over, you're expecting to see the kind of dip where the lake was, where you had your close encounter several days before. You hear a voice coming from behind you, almost like somewhat in a distance, but shouting. That kind of calls out and says, "Well, you wanted to talk, Fiera. Now's the perfect opportunity."
Ay.
As you
Of
turn
course there's
around,
trouble.
and you all turn around, and you can just see dissipating pink flames. As standing behind you,
Hi, Eirik.
you can
Eirik's
see
gone.
robes flying in the wind, silver hair that is also just chaotically waving around, the form of none other than Mr. Erkstein himself. And that's where we're gonna end today's episode.
Sierra.
Do I finally get to talk to him? Or is he gonna kidnap someone and leave?
Oh gosh, no more kidnapping people.
And that is where it
Hendrik could
ends.
just show up at any time.
Wizards, man.
Yeah, it's kind of what they do. It's kind of what they're famous for, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, someday maybe you can do the same.
Getting pretty close.
Yeah, only one more level and you can.
Oh, I can go home in one level.
Question is.
Okay,
You trying
bye.
to abandon us?
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave.
Is that your way of saying you want to make a whole new character?
That's been my mission the entire time, just to get home.
Yeah. Well. Exciting.
Oy, oy.
Like, I'm excited to talk or throw spells. I'll do either.
Throw them.
Just
thick.
do both. Just a mage battle.
Honestly,
Just
it might happen.
talking and throwing spells.
It is the wizard thing to do. I've watched Harry Potter.
Yes.
At least you're resistant. So I mean, like as soon as a battle ensues, I could be like, "Ring on now."
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
there we have it, folks. A lot learned, though probably also a lot of questions, as usual. It is how it goes.
I actually don't have that much this time.
Oh, nice. Well,
I filled 4 pages in my notebook tonight.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot I wanted to keep track of.
Mm,
Yeah, I took a lot of notes too, like 2 pages, 3 pages, something like that.
damn. Well, let's see what Mr. Kenneth Erkstein has to say. Or if he has anything to say. Maybe he's like just fainting and then you immediately cast a spell.
I mean, if he starts with the fireball, that'd be pretty on brand too. He's already done that.
Yeah. And I hope we return with the full cast member next week. And please like and subscribe to stay tuned to the ever-growing adventure of the Fate Weavers.
Yep.
Not much else to say. So, with that, that's a goodbye from us, and until next week. Bye.